I'm Adam Pellerin, and thanks for joining us as we launch this podcast on our Nesson platforms. It's been a lot of fun talking Bruins hockey and all things New England hockey. Well, last year was a special year for the Boston Bruins, the Centennial season where the team celebrated the different eras of Bruins hockey, and we got to see legends of the game, of Boston Bruins lore, walk through the door of TD Garden. And then this season, we got to celebrate the actual 100-year anniversary of the Boston Bruins organization. The Centennial game played on December 1st against the Montreal Canadiens. Of course, the Bruins, back in 1924 on December 1st, played the Montreal Maroons. They ended up winning that game 2-1, and the Bruins ended up winning the 100-year anniversary game as well. But besides the game, a special pregame ceremony honoring a number of legends in Bruins hockey history. And we were fortunate enough on our pre- and post-game shows to talk to a number of those legends. And you could listen to that right now on the Hockey Hub podcast. This is my Centennial Scally that I'm going to be wearing because we're talking all things Centennial here.
I like it. You wear it well.
Did you like yours?
I did.
Did you like yours?
I did. I loved what we did up in the booth. We had the old vintage microphones and we had the scally caps, and we tried to pay tribute to the start of this great organization back in 1924. We did our little part, and I thought it was great of the Bruins to include us with the scally caps.
Yeah, it was cool, and I am surprised to hear Judd say that he had never worn a scally. Now, typically men who are follically challenged tend to gravitate towards scally caps, but hearing Judd say that he had never worn one before was quite surprising, and I would venture to say that we might see a scally or two on Judd moving forward.
Yeah, and I was surprised by that as well. When we travel, there are times when I'll bring my scally cap with me. Maybe I'll make it when we go out to Western Canada is usually when it comes. When you get the scarf and the overcoat and the scally cap. I don't like wearing a toque, but I think Judd's more of a toque guy. That's what he likes to wear, keep that head warm when it's cold out. But I know Monty, when he was coaching the Boston Bruins, he was, always had a scally cap. So it's not foreign when you start traveling. Guys wear a lot of different things, and scallies are fairly popular with the hockey world.
Yeah, and typically you see coaches wear them for the outdoor games, right? Like the Winter Classic or the Stadium Series. But because the Bruins were honoring the Centennial, and really, obviously, starting back to last year, the Centennial season, we had seen the players sort of wearing clothes that were typical with the times, whatever era we were honoring. And saw Jim Montgomery at the time wearing a scally, and saw him wearing it at the Winter Classic as well a couple of years back. But getting back to Sunday and everything that went into the production of the presentation, right? And I want to start with the drone video because you were a part of that, and it was really cool. So I'll reference the Red Sox did something similar for opening day. I think it was 2 years ago, and it was really well done, and it was reminiscent of that. I don't know if you saw that or not, but just sticking with this drone video, it was really well done because it started. With an aerial shot, as if you're watching us on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch, you can see it right now. It started with the aerial shot over Causeway, and it starts with not only the Bobby Orr statue, Brick, but Bobby Orr standing there, and you're like, wow, that is going to be tough to top. But as we entered the Garden, you can see Blades going through security, and you can see us making our way, through all of these areas of the Garden. And then you see Willie O'Ree there. And, the list of names as we saw, there's Chief right there, Johnny Bucyk, one of the captains in Bruins history, honored pregame. And just taking it all in, Brick, this was magnificent.
It was, and you got a real good look there at Heritage Hall, and what a nice setup that is. I know that we spent a little time in there on Jack Edwards' night, post-game celebration, so you didn't really experience Heritage Hall, but you can see from this drone video how high quality that part of the garden is, and yeah, this was really cool. And when we were doing our part, radio and television, cam.
There's Taz in the box.
Yeah. Where he spent a lot of time, and it was interesting how they did it. A little bit above my pay grade, but to see that drone, and it came from the Zamboni entrance. And it took off went across the ice and went all the way up to the 9th floor, and then it made a big across the ice from where we are positioned, and then it circled around. It came by Neely in the Bruins management box, and then it stopped at Judd and I. Judd had a line to read, obviously, kicking off the broadcast, as it were, and then went down and catch Ryan and Beersy doing their kickoff for their radio broadcast. So it was pretty neat how it was done. I know it was put together at different times. It wasn't just one continuous drone coming in off Causeway Street. That's my understanding, not to give any secrets away, but the finished product was pretty spectacular. There wasn't much of a commitment from us. We only had to give up about a half an hour of our time to come into the garden on an off day to make sure that we could be part of this concept, and it was special. You could feel the day before the game, because of the unveiling of the bear statue and the presence and the people around, and then the drone setup, that it was going to be a pretty special day over the next 48 hours. So it was great. Todd Angeli was there. Nice to chat with him on an off day. But Margie came out and skated a couple of sloppers, and no, it was great being a part of it, and a small part of it at that, Adam. So enjoyed being a part of it, but the finished product was really cool. I didn't see the Red Sox one. I wish I had seen it. I consider myself a big baseball fan, but I did not see the Red Sox drone, so I'd like to compare the two because I thought this was pretty spectacular.
It was. The Red Sox one was well done. I know we're focusing on this Bruins Centennial game and the production and all that, but the Red Sox one was well done, and it was following Jerry Remy's passing. Jerry had passed away in October of the prior season, and the Red Sox had produced this drone video going into the 2022 season. And it started, I believe the opening shot was going through the press box and flowers for Jerry and honoring him as the drone took flight. So that was really well done, and it was an Emmy-winning video, actually, for the Red Sox. And I would suspect if this is going to be submitted for an Emmy, they are going to be strongly considered, and they would definitely get my vote. But I thought it was really cool. And on Brickett, and honestly, I'm not trying to, toot your horn here, but to see you there up in the box with Judd and being a part of that, it made me think. And again, you're my my partner on the Bruins broadcast here at Nesson, and a guy that I grew up watching as part of the Bruins. And I was thinking about you, man. I was like, man, Andy Brickley, grew up in Melrose, played at UNH, played in the NHL, played for the Bruins, has been a broadcaster for the Bruins forever, and is a big part of the Centennial. And I heard Judd say during the game, 87 players from New England have played with the Bruins, and you are one of 87. So we keep shrinking down these numbers, right? How rare, it is, your situation, right? It's just all right, to play, at college at a high level in New England, right? All right, smaller number of people have done that. To play in the NHL, a much smaller number of people have done that. To play for the Bruins, much smaller number of people. To play for the Bruins and being from Massachusetts, and then playing for the Bruins and being in the booth. I mean, that's incredible, man. Kudos, tip of the scally to you.
Well, just imagine how lucky I am, right, Adam? And last. Well, we'll say all of yesterday reminded me just how lucky I am personally, because I got to see my heroes, the guys that I watched, 8 and 10 when they won the Cups in 70 and 72, and here comes Orr, and here comes Espo, and here comes Chief, and here comes Cash, and it took me to that age, where I dreamed about being where they were. I dreamed about playing in the NHL, dreamed about playing for the Boston Bruins, and that all comes true, and I think it's important that people hear that story, because I want kids that are 8 and 10 playing youth hockey to have those dreams, because they can come true. And as lucky as I am, there is a lot of hard work that goes into it, a lot of preparation, a lot of sacrifice, all of those things that you have to do and live in order to get to the levels that you want to get to. But you got to be awfully fortunate, and I am very fortunate. And yesterday, again, it really drove home that fact that, here are these guys. These are the guys that made me want to be what I ended up becoming, and a debt of gratitude and admiration, and then to see the next generation, and then the next generation, and then the next generation of Bruins all tied together in this ceremony with the current players out on the bench with the coaching staff. I think it was so well done by the Boston Bruins, and it's very important that today's players understand the history of the organization that they're playing for.
I thought Sunday's game, and I'm just going to be honest with you, I thought, we just had the Centennial season. We just saw all of these legends come through the door, honoring the different eras of Bruins hockey, which was just outstanding. It was awesome. It was awesome. And I'm thinking, all right, well, we just did that for a full season. How special can it be on Sunday? I mean, we just experienced it. Well, you know what? It was. It was that and more. It was like, you never get tired of seeing Bobby Orr or Phil Esposito or Wayne Cashman or Chief. It never gets old. It was just as special. What were your thoughts on Sunday?
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And a credit to the Bruins organization. I think every little detail they were able to nail. And there were so many things to love about what took place in that Centennial game against the Canadiens. One of the things that I really loved was, they had the time capsule at center ice. So the whole idea was to put these memories from the first century of Bruins hockey in the time capsule and then look ahead to the next century of Boston Bruins hockey. And I love that the way that they did it, bringing the youth hockey players from around New England onto the ice to pass the puck. It was the legends from the first 100 years passing the puck to the next 100 years of Boston Bruins and the heritage of the organization. So I absolutely loved it. I just loved the heritage of the organization. And a few things that really came to mind, because this is the oldest American franchise in the National Hockey League. And it's the third franchise in the NHL that celebrated its centennial. Montreal is the oldest, and then it's the Toronto Maple Leafs. But the Bruins helped put hockey on the map in the United States. If you really think about it and go back, and I had the opportunity to go back and read some of the news clippings from December of 1924, and I mentioned this to Brickley in our open. Two things were clear. One, the style that the Bruins played, and two, how much the fans in New England embraced that style. But you had legendary players from that era, guys like Lionel Hitchman and Eddie Shore, and then as you move a little bit deeper into the history of the organization, then Milt Schmidt comes around. What you're talking about are guys who essentially planted the flag for the sport of hockey in the United States. And I think a lot of the popularity that you see now with the game and with the National Hockey League, the Bruins are right at the forefront of that, right at the vanguard of why the game is the way it is. But the other thing that came to mind, Adam, because you mentioned some of those names, you mentioned Orr and Esposito, and Willie O'Ree was on the ice, and Wayne Cashman was there. Raymond Bourque was kind enough to join us in the booth for a bunch of the second period. I think the difference when it comes to whether it's organizations, and we can talk about certain businesses or cities, you name it, it's the people that separate this. And the special people that were a part of the Bruins organization, both on the ice, the people who built it, the fans that support the organization, that's what makes this thing so special.
I completely agree. Well said and accurate. And, if you want to start on Saturday and the unveiling of the Centennial Legacy Monument in front of TD Garden, which, again, had legends and fans in attendance as Charlie Jacobs, Cam Neely, Brad Marchand, and dignitaries from the state of Massachusetts stepped to the podium to talk about the statue itself, how it honors the past, present, and the future. And that was the theme this weekend, was honoring all generations and future generations who are going to be a part of the organization, fans who are supporting the team now and in the future. And I just thought that you said it was well done. It was well executed. And the other event that took place was the Pass the Torch Showcase at Matthews Arena, where it all began for the Bruins back in 1924, when it was then called the Boston Arena. And the Bruins were able to beat Montreal, the Montreal Maroons, 2-1 in that game. And so you had wins 100 years apart.
Two former team captains, by the way, Wayne Cashman and the Chief, Johnny Bucyk. Was it as much fun to be part of that ceremony, Chief, as it was for us to watch it?
It was. It really built up to this first period. 3 goals, that's great. Haven't done that for a while.
Yeah, we needed that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Right here, my first left winger. I come out of camp when I was a rookie. Nobody touched me. Nobody went anywhere near me. The big guy was there. He turned that stick around. He go, I got him. Come on over here. Huh?
Did you looked after this guy?
Oh, he was all right. He took care of himself pretty well.
I did say this when you came up in the studio here a few minutes ago. It did my heart good to see you in this building again.
Well, it's great to be back. This was a tremendous ceremony, and the guys all here loved it. It's not done in any other sport, any other team. Not done in baseball, not done in football. The only place it's been done here is in hockey, and it means a lot to the guys that play and part of this organization, this team. This guy is, Mr. Boston Bruins.
Correct.
I tell you, I'll stand by him forever.
Chief, you've seen this whole year transpire to the amazing events that that the organization has put together. When you think about everything that they've done, what does that mean to you, knowing that you've been here for so long?
Oh, that's why it means so much to me. I've been here so long, and it's nice to see the organization take care of the former players. Like Cash is, they sent an airplane down for him. I had to hitchhike.
They wouldn't let me fly it, though. No, I know. I tell you the thing that we loved so much watching these old highlights and of the not only the cup teams when you went into the stand, all the other stuff, was that you guys had such a talented team and a set of characters. I mean, you guys were deep, and I think sometimes people got caught up in the characters, didn't realize how good a team you really, really had.
Well, everybody sort of had a job to do, and that was the character of the Boston Bruins. The Boston Bruins are like the city. You go out in this town and walk down the street, and you could pick up 20 guys, and you could say, that's a Boston Bruin. Look at that guy. Got a hard hat on, he's going to work, he's going to go home and have a couple of beers. But that's the way we were. We took what the city showed us, and we loved it. And then the city took us, and we had a great time. We'll skip a couple of those stories.
Yeah.
What do you guys think when you see the Montreal Canadiens sweaters? You had so many battles against those guys.
Well, that's past. Even when we play against them, Cash, we never held grudges. We just took care of business when we had to. And he did. He looked after us.
Yeah. Well, everybody had a role. Everybody did their job. And that's when you had success. And we enjoyed it. We believed in each other. And we went out and did what we had to do.
We had Cam on here earlier, and I was telling him what I really enjoyed about this Centennial process the whole year was you'd walk in and your teammates would start walking towards you and nothing had to be said. All of a sudden, up came the memories, right?
Yeah.
Some of them you don't want to talk about. I understand, right?
I was talking to the team today, and I said, you got a guy in this room that won the World Championship. He went to the top of the hill. Inside him, he has that. He never has to give that up. And when times are down, he can reach down and get that. I said, when they put the rope out, you grab it and don't let go because you can have that feeling.
Hey, is that two captains or what? Huh?
I know. Chief, you think about the number of Bruins former Bruins who stayed here, who said, this is where I want to make my home, you included. What is it about Boston that kept you guys here?
Well, I just think it's the people, friendliness, they're good and treat you well. The city is great, and everything, the sports here is unbelievable. It's one of the best cities in the world. I started off in Detroit, and there was nothing like this. That was the best move I ever had.
And you didn't have much to do with it either.
No, I was surprised, but I came here, and I was very happy. 67 years later, I'm still here.
I'm just so proud to be a part of the Bruins family. When I went to their training camp in 1958, I became a Bruins fan, and since then everything has been just absolutely fantastic for me. The organization is a great organization, and I'm proud and very happy to be a part of it.
Willie, what do you remember the atmosphere here on game day and in your era?
Well, it was loud.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's any other louder fans in the NHL than the Bruins fans. I watch them on the telly, and every time a goal is scored or something, I mean, you can hardly hear the. I think it's absolutely fantastic.
We saw you just with Johnny Bucyk a little bit. What's it been like to reunite with so many?
Oh, great! When I first come up, Johnny, he took me under his wing, and I didn't have any problems. I mean, as far as that, because if there was something going on the ice, there was always a Bruin there to back me up. So I'm happy, and when I found out that I was coming on this trip, I was overjoyed, really.
Have you been able to connect a lot with the current guys, and what's that been like to kind of bridge those gaps?
Oh, and then the young players, I've met all of them, and it's just nice to know that so many young players are coming up and being a part of the organization. 18, 19 years old, and when I come up with the Bruins, I was in my 20s, but it's a great organization, I have to say, and I live in San Diego, and anywhere I go, they say, oh, you're a Bruins, and I said, yeah. I was a Montreal fan in 1956, but then when I went to the Bruins training camp in 1958, I became a Bruins fan, and it's great, really. It's a nice feeling.
Is there a moment or a game that really sticks out to you from the playing days?
A Memorial Day?
A moment or a game that sticks out to you?
Oh, yeah, well, my first game on January the 18th, 1958, against the Montreal Canadiens. That's why tonight's game is a big game for me, to see them beat the Canadiens. And then when I scored my first goal in the NHL, it was against Montreal Canadiens here in the Boston Gardens on January the 1st, 1961. So those two really stick in my mind.
What is it like for you to come in and see your name?
It's great, to look up there and see my banner. I've been blessed over the years. I really have. I've had good health, and my family has been very supportive, and when every opportunity I get a chance to come to Boston, I do.
Well, you've been asked to be an ambassador and for hockey. Are you proud of the way you filled that role over the last few decades?
Yes. Especially when I came with the National Hockey League in 1988, Commissioner Bettman, and thanks to him for bringing me aboard. And at that time, it was the diversity program, which is now the Hockeyist for Everyone program. And I was doing a lot of traveling at that time to schools and boys and girls clubs and juvenile detention facilities, trying to get more boys and girls interested in playing hockey. And really, it's been great. I haven't traveled as much now, but I still do a lot of Zooms, do a lot of phone interviews, and stay relatively, involved with the game.
You seem to enjoy working with the youngsters, Michael, today.
Oh, it's great, and I still get emails and phone calls from some of the boys and girls that I've worked with over the years, and they tell me that some of the things that I've talked about, they're using them in their daily life, and they said I feel that I'm a much better person. So that's nice to hear. It's a nice feeling.
What made you a Canadiens fan in your childhood?
Pardon me?
What made you a Canadiens fan in your childhood?
Well, I was drafted by the Montreal Canadiens, and I turned pro with the Quebec Aces in 1956, and they were affiliated with the Montreal Canadiens. But then I came to the Bruins training camp on 2 occasions, and then turned pro in 1956, and then became a Bruins fan.
I think it's just to be a part of it is something that I think means a lot to me. And you think about all the history that this franchise has had, and the legends that have been through these doors is very meaningful for me to be a part of the celebration, and especially against Montreal and their history as well.
Patrice, if you can remember when you first got here, what you knew of the history of the team, and then when you started to realize the meaning of being a Bruin.
Yeah, I think right away when I came in, to be honest, I didn't know that much about the history and everything else, but as soon as you walk into the doors and you see the legends, walking in at any given time, from John Bucyk to Wayne Cashman, that was an assistant coach back then, to Ray and all the the amazing players in Cam. So very special. I think you understand it very quickly, and these guys always been available to answer any questions, and it kind of makes you understand what it really means to wear that jersey and the pride that you have to wear with.
I noticed the inside of your jacket. Was that special?
Yeah, special made. Yeah, from the team. So a little gift from everyone. I think very thoughtful and pretty special little piece of a little surprise, I guess, and that I can cherish and keep at home.
How much do you embrace now being part of that group that can be a resource for today's players and future players?
Yeah, I think it's definitely fun to try to be around and try to help out as much as you can. I think it's there's a lot of guys in that locker room that I'm good friends with, and I have a lot of respect for. So always available if they need me in any capacity. To be honest with you, to answer any questions and whatnot. I know they they have it handled, and they have a lot of leadership already in that locker room. But just I think just like I did, I guess in my days, it's just more being there for them and to support, but also being a fan and showing, I guess, support and showing that you're pulling for them.
Did this year create some connections with some of the former players that maybe you hadn't met before that kind of united the alumni as a group?
I can't say particularly that I've had to be honest, it's over the years. I think I've done that. Being able to get to know some of the guys, whether it's at the golf tournament, or, during the year, guys coming in. As I said before, the guys are welcome in the locker room. They always, the alumni always usually come in and say hi and shake hands. So over the years, I've gotten to know a lot of those guys, and it's obviously always special and meaningful to have those conversations. I have a lot of respect for all of them, and I think you just carry on that tradition, and it's always a lot of fun to be able to do that.
Patrice, players tend to live in the present, and they say, when I retire, I'll
Mhm.
stop and reflect
Yeah.
and start to look back on my career. Have you had a chance to do that? Put it in perspective?
It's a good question, and you're so right that that's what I used to say. Like, when I'm done, I'll be able to look back. I don't know if I really have done that, to be quite honest. It's at times I've done it, but it seems like life comes at you so fast that you don't really always take the time to reflect and look back. But the one thing that I'll say is I'm really thankful to have been able to play for so long and for an original six franchise, a franchise that has a lot of history, and to be in the city like Boston. So I feel very blessed, and the people I've been able to meet over the years, the friendships that I've had, that I still have, is pretty special.
Ray, let's start here because you probably have the most unique perspective on it, having played 21 years for this organization. Just what makes it so special to be a Bruin?
Well, whatever you get here, it seems like the culture is always there, and it's passed on from, I was so lucky to come here with, guys like Jerry Cheevers and Wayne Cashman, and probably 5 or 6 guys that won a cup in 70, 72. And what you learn, Peter McNabb always said that I didn't speak English when I got here. I spoke perfect English, but I just watch and listen. And then when you realize what this organization is all about, then it comes to you to kind of pass it on. And that has been going on for 100 years, and that's why this place is so special.
What was I don't like to use the word, but I'll use it anyway. What was the hatred like for the Montreal Canadiens in your first years in Boston?
Well, for me, I grew up in Montreal, so it was, I'm the kid like you, Brick, growing up here, right? Missing school to go to parades, and I was pretty spoiled growing up in Montreal, going to a lot of parades with my buddies, and then I get drafted by the Bruins August 9th. 79, and then it was all over, but I really noticed it when I came here to camp, and that was after a devastating loss that they encountered 1979 when they were up 3-1 in the third period with too many men on the ice and all that stuff. You could just see they were so upset, and the hatred whenever Montreal, you play them, or just the thought of Montreal, the talk of Montreal, and I knew that, hey, there was no way I was going to play for Montreal coming out of that draft. And you learn that, hey, the minute you get drafted and you play for a team, you're all in. And I was part of that, but for me, it was just took me a while to play good against Montreal, just because, especially in Montreal, they always tried to do too much, and to kind of get comfortable playing there and not trying to do too much was the case for me. So
Charlie McAvoy, the defenseman, on a breakaway, walks it back and he scores! Charlie McAvoy kisses the crest. He's got 2. Bruins 4. Canadians nothing.
Can we go a hat trick maybe for tonight? FanDuel, what? Come on.
How many did you have?
Jump on that one. I had one. Quebec City.
Well, the Bruins are shorthanded. Zadorov in the box for shooting the puck over the glass to lay a game. And McAvoy ends up out by the offensive blue line of the Canadians, killing this penalty, and he ends up with the breakaway. And he just makes a straight-ahead move.
This kid is so talented. Amazing. Like, he hasn't even capped the top of it yet. There's more to come there.
Ray, what kind of conversations have you had with McAvoy? Because you talk about the tradition and passing on the tradition. Can you take us inside some of those conversations you've had with Charlie?
There hasn't been much this year, but last year there's a few, and a lot of it is, for me, it's power play and kind of walking the line or trying to. I'd like him to see him shoot the puck a little more and establish that shot. And he's got a good one, And I just think he defers sometimes a little more than he should, because I think he should be the captain on that blue line in the backside and just establish that shot. And so much stuff happens off that initial shot. If you establish that shot early, from that point, then Pastrnak on the elbow on both sides open up a lot more than just kind of looking for the elbow where they know it's coming.
I like him carrying the puck, too, on the power play. I think he's more of it. He'll take more charge of it. But with the group that he usually plays with, they like that delay. They drop it back for Zacha and Pastrnak. I'd rather he carried it.
Well, he doesn't. He's amazing with his skating. And just his skating will push people back. Yeah. I think a lot of times he'll be able to gain his own and establish, puck possession. So.
For a lot of defensemen, as the Bruins clear this puck down, what's the evolution like learning to be a quarterback in the power play?
Well, I think you have it before you get here. And then it's just getting comfortable at this level. And if you played power play your whole career and you're one of these guys that is looked on to kind of run a power play, I think it's just a matter of time before you find that comfort zone. And some people takes a little longer than others, but for the most part, I think they all kind of find that comfortable spot.
And why do you think the reluctance for Charlie to shoot is? We all want him to shoot more, obviously, especially on the power play. Is it looking to make a better play? Is that what's going through his mind, or what do you think it is?
I think it's just, past scoring 50 goals or
deferring.
Yeah, he defers. I mean, believe me, I did not defer.
No, didn't have to tell you to shoot twice.
And I've always had the most shots and all that. But ask Cam. I saw Cam Neely in front of the net. I said, I'm getting the puck there. If I'm not scoring, he's tipping it or getting a rebound or something like that. So, you got to take charge. I mean, he should be taking way more shots, and you look at a guy like Makar or some of these guys that just find. I know it's a lot tougher getting shots through in today's game with everybody blocking shots and sticks in the lane and all that stuff. But you have a moment. You have a moment where that lane is open. Take it. Take it right then and there. The minute you hesitate for a fraction of a second, it closes, and that's what happens a lot with him.
Ray, you're the all-time leading scorer in Bruins history. As the Bruins send us into the far corner, when you see your name at the top of that list or at the top of the list of games played in franchise history, how much pride do you take in that?
I take an amazing a lot of pride. It was a lot of work and a lot of dedication and passion and stuff. I lived a dream. You ask me, during my career or at the beginning of my career, what do you think you're going to end up doing in this league? I'm like, if I play 10, 12 years, it'll be amazing. I ended up playing 22 years and putting the numbers that I put up. I said I will not talk about myself or what I've done till it's retired. And when I look back on it, I go, wow, I can't believe what I accomplished in this league. And being a blue-collar star, more or less. Rick, you practice against me every day, how I approach the game and how I
3-on-3 down low coverage is always a blast with you.
I brought it every day. I led by example. It wasn't a flashy game, but I'll tell you, it was steady and in your face, and I just tried to be there for my team and my teammates and did my best pretty much every day.
Yeah, Raymond's best, and he would tell you, Judd, that he never played a perfect game. That was the goal.
And that's why when I talk to kids or people or anybody in the workforce, when you think you've done it perfect, you're not getting better every day. So regardless of what the game was in terms of points or almost, it's, especially this game, it's a game of mistakes. So I was looking for perfection every day, practice or games, knowing that I would never reach it.
Well, it looks like the Canadians have just gotten on the board back door. Swayman having a quick conversation with the linesman as that puck was swatted through him. Cole Caulfield looks like he's put the Canadians on the board with the Bruins on top 4-1.
Yeah, I'm not sure who this is going to bank in off of. There's traffic right on the doorstep of Swayman. We said that Montreal is willing to take bad angle shots. Now the question is, Caulfield, did he get into that crease on his own? Was Swayman allowed to play his position?
Doesn't take much in today's game, right?
No, it doesn't. But the fact that you're up 4-1, is that going to alter your decisions here? We'll take a look. Caulfield gets in there. It looks like it deflected off him.
Counts.
Yeah, that's a good goal. Ray, what would you say that, people talked about your ability to recover, the capacity to have a minute shift, come get a breather for about 10 seconds and do it again?
That was good genes and a man called Benoit Adjit that was my high school gym teacher when I was 14 years old, that had a track and field team in Montreal, that four of his runners went to the Olympics, and he trained me from the age of 16 years old till I retired, and he made me an athlete more than just a hockey player.
We'll be back with Ray Bourque in just a moment. It's an honor to be joined by Ray Bourque here in the booth. The Bruins on top 4-1 over the Canadians here in the Centennial game. Ray, you played more games than anybody else in Bruins franchise history. Which game are you asked about the most?
It's Phyllis Fizzetto night. I tell you, that's all they talk about. Oh my God, and that was decided at 1 o'clock that afternoon. What was going to happen with that jersey? Phil was told that the number is going to go up with his name, and then when I retire, I'll be next to his name. I got a call from Terry Reilly at 1 o'clock that afternoon, and we discussed what we should be doing with that jersey, and that was such a right thing to do. And I was just with Phil yesterday talking about it again, and he brought it up. But it's so true that it was the first time that anybody ever seen Phyllis Fizzetto speechless, and his face was like this. Oh my God, he was. I know I made his day. It was so perfect the way it all ended up, because nobody knew other than my wife, trainers, and management of the Bruins, and it was just a fabulous night, and that's what comes up the most.
Oh, Marchand denied out in front, and then cued the rebound wide. I think I've heard you tell the story in the past, but how many people say they were in the building that night?
At least 100,000. And it only held, 13 floors, something? What a building, though. Oh, my God. Brick, that thing would get rocking, huh? Trembling sometimes.
Yeah, the people were just so close to you, close to the action in the old building.
That Chicago Stadium.
Yeah, fabulous.
I remember hearing a story from Scotty Bowman, the old coach, when he was with Montreal. He said there was just something uncomfortable as a visitor.
Yeah, the dressing room. Their dressing room with no hot water and rats and you name it.
Well, it's the Canadians. I know it was the Maroons, 24, but it's the Canadians. Talk a little bit about that 88 team that won in the postseason. They call it a season to remember because the Hex was over.
Oh, my God. So I grew up there. I used to go back there every summer and have to hear about it every summer, all summer long. And then 87 was the quietest summer I've ever had in Montreal. But for the whole organization, just seeing Harry Simmons' face after that happened, Taz, and how we felt about it, and how on a mission we were really to finally win a series against Montreal. Reggie and I, being from there, and we had a little saying that I can't say, but we'd say it every day, all day long, and we had to create that kind of hate, and it was always kind of there between both teams, with a lot of respect, obviously, for both teams and their talent. Just an amazing goal right here.
Yeah.
Man, he had Patrick's number.
So in that series, the Bruins dropped game 1. And you swept the next 4.
We got killed. And I just remember that meeting the next morning, and Taz is ripping like going up and down and just going nuts. And I just remember Steve Casper standing up and saying, hey guys, hey, it's one game. And then, but we had character guys. We had chemistry. We had a nice group. And we regrouped, and, it was just...
Come on, you guys were lucky to get by the Devils. And then...
In 88.
Oh, we were, actually. But, yeah, if the referees were friggin' still roughing one game, maybe it would have happened a little quicker.
Death taxes and the first penalty in the Forum. The other highlight that our crew really loves from that 88 series was the fist bump by Reggie Lemelin after he won.
Yeah. Well, that said it all right there. But I'll tell you what it meant to not only our team but our fans that are amazing and always have been amazing. We had to have security at Logan Airport. The state troopers had to form a line for us to get to our cars, because I think we're a charter, but we had there must have been thousands of fans. I'm not saying 10 or 5, but there was 2,000 or 3,000 or 4,000 people waiting for us when we got home after that game. It was crazy. So the whole friggin' city was so excited about this. And that allowed us, finally to get to a finals.
So you and Brick had a chance to play together from 88 to 92, and there have been 87 New England-born players that have played for the Bruins franchise. Could you tell how special it was for guys like Brick or guys who were from here to play for this team?
Of course. I mean, and I think Brick would agree that, if you're going to play for your hometown team, you probably don't want it to happen out of the box. Go establish yourself somewhere, learn what it takes, and kind of know how everything goes and how you're going to deal with everything. Because if you're out of the box, you're playing here, you got family, friends, and everybody looking for tickets, your time, and whatever. You just want to focus on what you have to do to try to establish yourself as a solid NHL player. So, are we going to break or are we good?
Icing, baby, no break.
Okay, I thought I heard something, but so tell me again. I didn't finish.
87 local players.
Okay.
Players who have been born in New England have played for this franchise, including the man to our right.
And you want them, and I got to say, the man on my right here was one of the most cerebral player that I've ever played with. Whenever I came around that net, or do I tell this all the time? I came around a net, I knew where Brick was going to be. If I needed support anywhere or always in the right position, and he'd just be cruising, not getting stopped for speeding or nothing like that, but always in the right spot. Yeah. So whenever you had a kid from Boston, you always felt that was so special for them and their families that you wanted them to do well. And it was always fun to have some local guys on the team.
Joined by two of the greats, two guys whose numbers are hanging in those rafters. Rick Middleton and Terry O'Reilly are with us. I was trying to do the math and I can't do it. How many goals do you think in the history of this team you both figured in on the same goal?
Well, I'm not sure, but
I did math once about the number of points, not just goals, but points. And we had something like 610 points in 3 years together.
Wow!
And to put that into perspective, Gretzky only has 618.
Yeah. But hold it. Be careful. That's Nifty's math. Okay. When you look it up, it may be a little different.
It might not be exact.
So we had...
He had 550. I had 75.
Oh, no. You had 550 PMs.
Yeah.
You had the penalty minutes.
We had 2,000 minutes together.
Yeah. You remember when you were in Philly in those days, and we'd go in for our exhibition games that would be about 6 hours long, right? And they'd drop the puck, and Peter McNabb and I always joked about this. And if you were on the ice, you'd feel the same way. They dropped the puck, and all of a sudden, everybody would drop their gloves. All 5 guys would grab me, or they would grab him, and he'd be skating around looking for somebody, and I'm going, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
Terry, we showed the footage earlier of the night at Madison Square Garden. And, I could sort of see Terry O'Reilly going over the boards and getting involved. I couldn't picture Peter McNabb doing that.
Well, he was my buddy and my teammate. He was coming up to look after me. Actually, all of you guys.
Well, the guy that came down the steps was the guy's brother that Terry grabbed. Yeah. So when he came down and jumped on Terry, Peter was the next guy over. Yeah. He saw Peter coming. He ran back up the steps. And then enter Mike Milbury, who was in the hall with me. He had no idea what happened.
And he
got
chased
quickly.
He chased the guy up to the top.
Yeah, and took his shoe off.
Yeah, beat him with his own shoe.
When you guys think Montreal Canadiens, what comes to mind for each of you?
They ain't what they used to be.
No, I always said that you always had to be at the top of your game. I mean, you knew they were going to force you to not make mistakes and play as good as you could, and you might have a chance to beat them, especially in 77, 78 when they had such a great team. But we knew we could beat them in 79, and we came within that close to do it.
Yeah.
I said earlier tonight there are 12 retired numbers in those rafters. You guys have 2 of the 12. Taz, what did it mean to you when they put your number up there?
Greatest honor to a hockey player, to a Boston Bruin, to finalize and summarize your career. It was my home. Came down here when I was 19 years old, never left. So.
And in your case, Nift,
well,
after
30 years, I said I can die a happy man now at the age of 65.
How about this entire year? This is kind of the cap, the ending of it, the cream on the crop a little bit here.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a great year, a great ceremony. We used to, in the old days, always look at Montreal and say, look how they do their performance. It was the top, the Bruins, right up there now, aren't they? This is so much fun.
Yeah. And I'd just like to say, being up there with Nifty and Ray Bourque, 2 of my former teammates and my co-captains when I was coaching. I called them both in and asked them to be co-captains. And
which was another great honor.
To be up there beside each other. It's great. I look up there and my heart warms. So.
What was it like standing in the hallway and the players coming in between you and bumping fists on their way out?
I thought it was great. I mean, and they really appreciated it, too, because they know the history, if they've been watching it at all over the years and seeing the tapes. And they really got pumped. Look at the score today.
Yeah.
Oh, you're taking credit for that now?
Absolutely.
Come on.
Absolutely.
All I could think of was how young they looked. Did I look that young?
2 of the great players in the history of this team. 2 of the great nicknames, too. Nifty and Taz, it's great to visit with you guys. Thanks very much.